I've learned that the essence of success is cultivating the right philosophy in yourself. Until the age of 23, I cared deeply about philosophy, but not at all about my personal success. I knew that I probably should find something to be passionate about, but in a weird way through philosophy I thought that nothing really matters. I had overcomplicated my mind into an existential mess. But now I'm 25. I'm going to be 26 in 3 weeks from now. And I finally learned how to use philosophy to actually be passionate and happy. This year I've started to make money with this YouTube channel. And it's not enough to live off of, but it feels pretty great. Really, more important than money is just the sense of purpose that my work has brought to me. A purpose that I couldn't really imagine finding before. It really doesn't depend on how many views this video gets or how much money I make. I've cultivated happiness independent of external validation. And this authentic independence is what has been growing my passion and monetized this YouTube channel. So I want to teach you how to practically integrate this philosophy. But how do you find your passion? First issue is that everybody starts to skip the passion part and immediately thinks, what is everybody else doing and how can I copy them with the least effort possible to make a ton of money? What you then see is a bunch of e-commerce dropshipping businesses and carbon copy self-improvement channels. Not that you can't be passionate about these things, but it's much more likely that you just haven't figured out what makes you unique and what you're really passionate about. I myself was guilty about this at the start of my YouTube channel too, making just standard self-improvement videos about, I don't know, dopamine detox and stuff, saying the same shit that you have heard 1,000 times before, said in the exactly same way. And you can see the same issue happening with all other modern media. This phenomenon of market forces corrupting unique identities is found everywhere in the modern zeitgeist, because the more you try something new, the more likely you are to fail. So we get very little to no innovation, and a video game console that has 3 Spider-Man games that all play pretty much the same. Each of these have less creative identity than its original counterpart that was released 20 years ago. But these companies too have families to feed and employees to pay, so instead they do what has worked before. And people still buy it. That's business after all. But for you this means 2 things. First, a lot of markets are already served. Second, there's a desire for innovation. And innovation only comes from authentic creativity. Okay, so there seems to be a link between passion and authentic creativity. How do you develop this passion then? Do you know this feeling when all time disappears and you're just super and hyper focused on doing one thing you find interesting? Call it a flow state, obsession, or even addiction. Just wanting to be stuck forever in the sense of focus is really the most pleasant feeling. And this is what I've learned to chase. The more often you activate the part in your mind that focuses on what you have to do, the more addicted this work becomes. And instead of focusing on the outcome, so like it's not about what you get from it, you focus on the action because you like being in the present moment, engaging in that activity. You're following your innate curiosity. And without this level of intrinsic motivation, you're going to sell your creative voice to the devil. You'll start to copy others and are overly focused on the success metrics instead of just your own abilities. And then doubts come in whether you're going to make it because you're not authentically following your curiosity. Because if authentic curiosity is the point, then how could you possibly fail? But Marco, what does curiosity really mean? I follow my curiosity and then I get nothing done. Okay, fair point, so let's get even more specific. When I compare my first video to what I can do now, I feel so much more confident in my abilities to express myself. And it's crazy to see how bad I was 2 years ago. I have around 32, 33 videos in total, and half of them are unlisted because they're just really cringe. And despite that, I kept going. I just wanted to know what else I could do. And then I knew that what curiosity really was a desire to learn. I know now that the first learning step was to make myself uncomfortable, to do something badly and show it to other people. You progress in your authenticity when you're able to be judged and keep going no matter what other people say. And it's within this authenticity that passion builds. And the funny thing is that you might be thinking that you are really scared of other people's judgments. But it's really not it. What you're fearing is the judgment of yourself, because there's really nothing that you experience that is not just some sort of reflection of you. You are just seeing in other people your own insecurities. And confidence comes when you know and accept who you are. In this process, you can see that learning is not information. Learning is an experience. You cannot replicate it by hearing me talk about it. It's only through your own action and trials and tribulations that it becomes learned. This is the difference between listening and testing what you hear me say for yourself, or moving quickly to the next video, assuming that you've learned something. This ability to hear new information and experiment with your own creative voice is the bedrock of learning. This is why all of these self-improvement books and podcasts miss the you component. It can only come together with your own life experiences and the relationships that you draw. Because what you do with your life is a very personal and existential question. So what's the best way that we can ourselves judge our work? Look at what you create and feel it out. What resonates with you? And then figure out all the ways in which it sucks. This is where I see most people fail, because they can't handle seeing how bad they are. They can't see that it isn't good enough, or they want to just assume it's all subjective. In the case of YouTube videos, for example, everybody blames the algorithm all the time. But the algorithm really it's a literal replica of human behavior, just nothing else. The algorithm didn't push your video because people didn't want to watch it. And trust me, YouTube knows who to recommend your videos to. Realize that you're not good enough and do better. And this really holds true with whatever passion you want to monetize. People will pay attention to you when what you do is what they need. They're paying with their attention, and time is really the most precious resource. You might have started asking, how the hell are you supposed to be unique and authentic and yourself and still at the same time care what other people need? And I will talk about this very soon, but I want to really hammer the point home that as long as you don't care when you succeed and focus only on how to become better, you're likely to succeed. Because most people give up because they don't learn how to love the learning process. Or they pursue things that just doesn't interest them enough because they only care about the financial outcome and not the process. But really, your entire life is a huge process. And who you are is what your work is going to become. It's what your relationships are going to become. When you observe what you're doing and think, okay, this is a lot better than 3 months ago, you are on the right track. But the absolute most important measure of improvement that I really want you to integrate with all your soul is just how much time do you actually spend on your passion. Because your life is really like a management sim. In the routine of the day-to-day is where the game of success is actually being played. The more you have control over your body and mind, the more successful you will be. And when I say success, I mean happy and mentally healthy. Because a healthy mind wants to create stuff. For 2 years now, I've tracked every single hour of my life. It sounds very autistic and difficult, but it really isn't. It's just natural to me now, and I often forget that it's weird. This idea came to me because I was watching in my Steam library how many hours I had worked on a certain game. I'm saying worked. How much time I spent on a game. And I thought it would be very cool if I could have a numerical indicator with everything I do in my life. So now I use an app called Toggle Tracker to track all my time. This is not a sponsorship, but it would be cool if it was. So improving isn't about consistency in output. It's the consistency in your work ethic. How good are you being your own boss? If you struggle with all of the self-discipline stuff and you're not achieving what you want, it's generally because you have not defined what you really want. You should really spend more time listening to yourself instead of listening to other people talk. Because somewhere there's a voice within you that clearly wants something that you're suppressing. Because you do what you want. So pay good attention to your own decision-making process without judging yourself or trying to rationalize your behaviors. Instead, try to understand what your real needs are. The less information you engage with from the outside world, the easier it will be. Because impulsively distracting yourself is exactly what keeps you where you are right now. But it's not your fault. It's really society is counting on you being distracted. That's our economy right now. It's all about manipulating you into your own mediocrity so that you consume and pay. So controlling your impulse becomes an existential question. What is the life that you really want to live? Recognize that and then make your choice. But hey, I'm not above this or some master of self-discipline. It's really a lifelong journey. And currently, I'm also upgrading my work discipline as well. I'm giving myself right now a challenge in my Discord group where I need to do 7 hours of work on YouTube a day. If I accomplish this, then I have like a 1-year goal. And I've so far not been able to do so, but now I want to upgrade this And yeah, take it seriously. And I'm documenting my process in my Discord community that you can find in the link below. You push against your old identity and do something you thought is impossible for you. And then you prove yourself that it is possible. And then you are a different person forever. It's doing these little things you normally would never do that register in your mind as, oh, so I am really self-asserting my own identity. I am telling myself what I'm capable and not capable of. Okay, this all sounds very nice, but how is it guaranteed to make me any money? So first of all, of course, nothing in life is guaranteed. That's the point of focusing on the action itself without too much concern over the consequences. But once you've got the discipline down, like you know you can do the hours, then the actual game of making money starts. Because having a passion and working towards it is not the same as making money from your passion. As any type of creator, you want to find out where your natural creativity aligns with the desires of other people. If they don't line up, you will either lose motivation and quit because it's just not fun for you, and if you only do what you want and never consider other people, you will never grow. So from a top-down perspective, to monetize your passion is to consistently find new answers to these 3 questions. What do people want that doesn't exist? What do I want to create that is authentic to me? What do I need to learn to bridge these 2 together? So you want to work to find exactly where you need to be for yourself and other people. And this is part of the consistent improvement. It's your own abilities, your own self-expression, and finding out what other people really need. Somewhere these overlap. This is the golden zone. This you want to hit endlessly and keep reiterating and improving on it. There's always been this idea that you either are a creative artist and make no money, or that you sell your soul to the devil and become just corporate. But that's bullshit. There are many weird artists that you and I like that have become very popular just because of their unique identities. Figure out who inspires you, because you are a unique being that doesn't exist in the same way. So find yourself and give the world what it wants. At the end, all you do in life is just really a journey of self-discovery. And if you're struggling a lot to find yourself because you can't find meaning in this apparently meaningless world, watch this video next.